Welcome to Kung Fu Habit number 2. This is a martial art video just without the martial art demonstration. I'm going to make martial arts the subject matter. This is going to be a 2 or a 3-parter. I just made a blooper reel, so we're going to go with that. So as you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, which a lot of you haven't, but my 64 plus followers have, and I thank you guys very much. Let me get that out the way first, because I do need to thank you for being here regardless. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me purpose. Okay, so I want to talk about martial arts. I follow a lot of people on YouTube, and I follow a lot of people on Instagram. And on Instagram, I follow one of the best guys that you can follow, and that's McDojos. Sadly, he didn't get to answer my question, so I'm going to put that out here for you in the first video. Because I have taken a little bit of capoeira, and I have taken a little bit of jiu-jitsu and a little bit of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and my question for him was, which one did he think was better, or which one he think was more practical for combat? You know, my personal experience is that I am a hell of a lot better with capoeira and jiu-jitsu than I am with Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Let me explain that before you guys start going off on shit. Alright, when the Gracies first came out, they basically took jiu-jitsu and flipped the script. Regular jiu-jitsu, from what I was taught, was spawned off of judo. And judo and jiu-jitsu aren't exactly different, but they aren't exactly the same, and everything has evolved. As with all martial arts, everything has evolved. I took capoeira to learn a traditional black martial art, alright? And when I say traditional black martial art, it was basically a slave martial art to code messages through dance. Now, what a lot of people don't know who took capoeira, Lamwata, I'm probably not saying it right, but it is a Jamaican version of capoeira. I do not personally know which one came first, but they both begin with the Jenga, okay? And I'm probably not saying that right. But, you know, I took martial arts to fight martial artists, alright? To be better at martial arts than most martial arts, it is almost virtually impossible. Let's get that out of the way. It is almost virtually impossible to be better than someone else. However, it is highly probable that if you can recognize the style and you can defeat the style. So you can defeat the martial artist using it if you know your way around the style, which is basically what I'm saying. I'm sure a lot of people will not agree with that, and to those people I say, go try it. See what you learn. See what you know. Versus what I asked from McDojo was, which one do you like more from Brazil, which would be capoeira or Brazilian jiu-jitsu? Now, jiu-jitsu itself, initially, unless I am incorrect, jiu-jitsu itself, the shit I learned came from fucking Japan. Alright? I could be wrong. I'm not 1,000% right, but I know the jiu-jitsu I was taught came from Japan. Alright? The judo I was taught came from Japan. Kempo, that's a horse of another color, because I was taught Okinawa Kempo. Okinawa's in Japan. I was taught some Korean Kempo. Korean Kempo is in Korea. Taekwondo is from Korea, which, by the way, has a resurgence, which I asked him about that, and he did clarify. But he didn't get to my question about which does he prefer, capoeira or Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Now, I'm going to be a little biased, alright? Because I suck at Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I have said that many times. When I was in Delta Company, we had to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I could not get that guy off me to save my life until I headbutted him in the crotch, which caused me to have to do push-ups. So, you know, and to that veteran, my brother in Delta, I'm sorry. But, you know, when you are exposed to something new or strange, the overwhelming anxiety of failure to do it correctly will sometimes clinch in, and that was what happened to me because I've never been on my back before in a fight. When I learned jiu-jitsu, it was more like a judo jiu-jitsu type thing where you lock and you grab and then you throw and you got grapples and shit like that, you know. But for Brazilian jiu-jitsu, that was the first time I had ever tried it. It's the first time I ever heard of it. It's the first time I ever seen the side mount, the triangle, and all this other crap. Now, seeing it on TV versus experiencing it is a horse of another color. I don't want to be side mounted. I don't want to be mounted, period. But you know, then you have like when you're on your guard and your back's up on them, or they're on your back rather, or they're on side mount and you're on guard. You know, these things is kind of difficult for me because I've always been a stand-up fighter. I've never been a ground and pound or roller kind of guy. I'm all about the strikes. I'm all about hitting and trying not to get hit back in the process. Now, when you are in a fight and there is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu versus Jiu-Jitsu, there is a difference. I am not capable of explaining all of both of the differences, but a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're on the ground. A lot of Jiu-Jitsu, depending on who teaches you what, you're on your feet. Alright? Like I said, it depends on who teaches you what, because every martial art evolves. Every martial art evolves. Alright? As I said, you know, wushu is one of the things I used to love doing when my body was limber and loose enough to do that. The problem with that is now my body is no longer limber and I'm no longer young enough to do that. And then in its evolvement, wushu has become super flashy and mostly showmanship now, and that kind of sucks. And Taekwondo kind of has too, but Taekwondo has made a resurgence more of a serious martial art. But Wushu and Taekwondo both have become exceptionally flashy. Not longer are the days of Herb Perez and the WMAC doing their thing, but Taekwondo has become a whole nother level of gymnast. Same thing with Wushu. So we're going to get off that for the next video. We'll talk about that. But for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you know, when you got the grip and you mount it and they have to do the C-clamp and the grip across your arms because your arms are like this, you're gripping their lapel, and it's one arm here and then one arm up here, and they have to roll you off. I totally sucked at it. I totally sucked at it. Because they were like, well, you have to do this. And I was like, I'm doing that. This big body guy is not moving. So, you know, my personal, I'm more stand-up. You know, I'm more of a stand-up guy than getting on the ground. I don't have a problem rolling on the ground. I don't want to have to tap out. It will probably happen, you know, like really quickly. Mostly due to I don't want to damage my hip. I don't want to get caught in a heel hook. I don't want to get caught when my leg can't bend the right way because of my hip. So rolling is probably not the best idea. Even if I roll with someone who has limited experience, there's a good chance that they can damage my ass, and I'm really not trying to have that. Now, with capoeira, you know, capoeira has a rhythm. You know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu does not really have a rhythm, where capoeira has a rhythm, and you kind of can feel it in your sway, you know. And when you get that jinga going, you know, and you got your sway, you know, there's no room in here. But when you get it going and you feel it, I mean, you really feel it. That's why they have the music when they're playing it, you know. I recently re-listened to Only the Strong soundtrack, so I wanted to bring this up, that, you know, I'm a realist, all right? And, you know, again, my track record doesn't speak because, you know, street fights don't really count in the martial art world. I mean, they count if somebody sees them and if somebody can confirm them that you did it. Otherwise, you're just bullshit. Because I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are going to say, oh, James, you're just bullshit. Of course, the people who I have fought will go against that. But, you know, the people who have not seen me do anything, except for, like, my movie clips and shit, they'll be like, ah, yeah, you got the moves, but that's about it. All right? And that's going to happen a lot. But the thing with martial arts, you have to understand that martial arts, fighting in general, works on the principle of, I'm going to hit you, you're going to hit me, somebody's going to sleep. Or somebody's going to be leaking, and the fight's going to continue. In a controlled environment, you know, everything works the way it's supposed to, like a well-oiled machine, because you're in a controlled environment so that no one gets hurt. Versus when you're out here in the street, where it's more or less is survival of the fittest. You know, and I'm no longer fit. That does not mean I can't win. It just means that it's going to take me a little bit longer. And I didn't get to get a reply to him about which one he would prefer. Now, he has done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I have done Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I suck at it, straight up and down. I suck at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But I'm also like to consider myself the jack of all trades because I have studied for various styles, you know. And in the next video, I will get to that as well as the TKD and the wushu thing. So if you guys are out there and you guys are watching, I want to know, do you prefer BJJ or capoeira? I think I might start that poll on Facebook when I'm done with all these videos tonight. Alright, thank you guys. Part 2 is coming up.